cue the signature look of superiority. Artsabers has sent me their replica version of my all-time favorite lightsaber. So let's open this up and check it out. We have ourselves a nice, sturdy carrying case. As somebody who goes to conventions a lot with lightsabers, I really appreciate having a nice, safe way to transport my lightsabers. This is super helpful with all the cosplay and everything else, just being able to contain all your paraphernalia for the lightsaber in one single spot. And usually there's enough room to fit at least like 2 in here. It is a combination case, so that's a nice little bit of extra security. And here we go. Count Dooku's lightsaber. My all-time favorite lightsaber. I am so utterly delighted to have a replica of it here. It's currently saran wrapped to protect that beautiful finish, so we're going to get back to that. What else do we have in here? We have an adjustment tool. These I really appreciate to have a lot more than Allen wrenches, just because they're a lot easier to keep track of. And the ergonomics are appreciated. We have an instruction manual, screws, and an Allen wrench. There is installation software for modifying, because this is a NeoPixel saber, so you can do all sorts of fun stuff with it, and this is the software to let you do it. We've got a charge cable and a display stand, which I'm looking forward to putting together. A coupon, instructions for the safe, and a insertable blade plug that you can use in the lightsaber when you don't have the actual blade itself, and this will light up later. And of course the pixel blade itself. So let's get everything unwrapped and get a closer look at it all. And here we have it, in all of its gleaming, shiny, highly polished glory. Wow, you can see yourself in this thing. One thing that immediately jumps out to me about this lightsaber, other than the ooh, shiny, is this matte section right here. The ooh, not shiny part. That's not a complaint though. If you look at Dooku's actual prop, the polish just cuts off right here, and that's completely accurate and a really nice touch to see, because I think it's something that gets often omitted because they just chrome the whole lightsaber and they always leave this part chrome too. So it's really nice to see that matte finish turn up on this, well, replica lightsaber. I've only just gotten this thing out of the wrapping and it is already covered in fingerprints. I knew that was going to happen with something this highly polished. That's fine with me. I'll wipe it down before I put it on display. This trigger here is completely decorative. It's on the actual lightsaber, so it's good that it's there, but this has no real function. The actual ignition button is hidden right here. For me, I like my lightsabers to be a balance between form and function. I like them to have some ergonomic consideration, but I also really like them to have a certain degree of junky techiness to them. And Dooku's saber has always been really interesting in that respect to me, because it sort of inverts the way you usually think of lightsabers being formatted, where normally you would imagine all that tech stuff to be ahead of the hand and something that you reach up to interact with. But in Dooku's case, it's all centered in this section here. All of those tech features, the blocky power cell stuff, triggers, the ignitions, all that fun stuff is back here, and it leaves everything from the hand forward very elegant and very clean. And I've always been fascinated with how it sort of lets all of that hang down past the hand in a way that kind of feels like a weed whacker to me almost, if that makes any sense to you. But yeah, I've always loved my little weed whacker lightsaber here. Some of you might be thinking, hey, he's already got a Dooku lightsaber. Why is he so excited over this one? Well, because this one really is meant to be a replica lightsaber. The other one I have, it's pretty close, but there are some pretty major differences to draw attention to in a later video, and I will definitely do a comparison of the two. But right now I am delighted over this one, specifically for how skinny and small this one is. This one actually, you can get your hand around it and it feels great in the hand, and I can't wait to get the blade in it, and I'm so pumped. But I need to charge it first, so let's take a break and go do that. To charge this saber, you're going to want to locate this golden screw right here. You will probably need a screwdriver to get it going, but the edges are ridged, so once you've got it a little bit loose, you should be able to just swivel it on out. Now when you do so, make sure to remember that there are two pieces here, the screw and a washer. Try not to lose that washer. Once you've done that, you can simply slide off the end cap, and that will expose the USB port. However, if this is your first time charging the saber, you'll need to go a step further, because inside, by just cranking this piece off, we can expose both the battery and, more importantly, for our purposes, the kill switch. So we're going to need to switch that to on. And this right here is also why these sabers tend to run on the expensive end, if they're even offered at all, because that right there is a very, very crooked lightsaber. It's no small task trying to fit all of the components you need for a lightsaber into not just a small package, but a bent one. So props to them for figuring out how to make this work. So once you have it set up to go, you just need to make sure that you are keeping it to 5 volts for the battery's health, and you're good to go. Oh yes. That curved hilt is something else for a lightsaber handling experience. The way you can just extend your arm and have that point just threatening right ahead of you, it just comes in line so naturally. It's really, really fun as a fencer to just have my blade pop on like that. I mean, look at how straight this all is without me having to like bend my wrist or anything. It just lines up. That is so fun. Now I will say, because this is a pixel blade on a rather light hilt, the blade is pretty heavy, and I can kind of have to work to keep it up from back there. I feel like the place where I really want to hold this is more up here from a weight standpoint. That gets the point of balance right about there, which is a pretty good spot when you're actually trying to move a sword-like object around. But this isn't really meant for sparring, maybe some like light play or cosplay shenanigans, but this is really more of a replica piece here. So I'm not really planning to whack anything with this anyways, so I can deal with having a little sluggish handling for just the sheer presentation value of being able to hold this thing right there and just give the full Dooku experience in one hand. That is very fun. Now, I will say activating the sound effects using your pinky takes a little getting used to. It definitely requires you to take a very particular grip with this. I cannot choke up on this and have access to my sound effects. I have to really be down here to reach it. And if I switch to using a two-handed grip, well, there just aren't any sound effects I can get at, because now my palm is over that. Maybe if I get it just right, I can do that. Maybe that's something you can learn to do, is to use your palm and press that button there. But it's something you would have to get used to doing, I think. It definitely feels more natural to just brandish this in one hand and access that button that way. And more to the matter of two-handing it, it's a pretty tight grip on here. Again, this is styled as more of a one-handed lightsaber here, but Dooku makes it work in two, and you can make it work in two too. It's a little bit of a cramped grip, but I can get in and I can really lock my hands in because of how tight the space is. But if you have really, really big hands, you might have a problem trying to do that. But I feel like I can get in a pretty good place with this. But let's be honest, anybody who gets their hands on one of these is going to want to spend all of their time using it in one hand. And to that point, it works great. This might be a love it or hate it thing for you, but this textured grip right here is very, very textured. You could probably take skin off if you sat there and like rubbed on it long enough. But it does mean that when you grip it, it's not going anywhere. It is a really, really secure grip on this. And I have no concerns that I'm going to accidentally drop this thing or anything. Like, my hand is on here for sure. So you might find it a little uncomfortable, but for me, who does fencing all the time, uh, yeah, I like that positive retention. I am willing to accept some additional sword calluses if it means having a really good grip on my lightsaber here. It does come with a very standard belt clip wheel, so if you have one, you can wear it. This is it with the blade plug installed. It's not really accurate to the actual lightsaber, but it is very cool looking, and I will probably end up using this on one of my other lightsabers. And of course, it's also motion control enabled, so you can do cool stuff like that. But because of the curved hilt, there is a learning curve to getting it to move the way you want it to, because it's all directional based on the module in there, so you need to make sure you've lined it up right for the motion you're doing. And because this is a pixel blade, you're not constrained to just doing a Count Dooku look. You can make it do whatever you darn well please. This is Bluetooth enabled, so there is an app you can get that will allow you to control all of the saber settings from your phone, especially good for people like me who are really incompetent at timing out how long to press the button. It is just a beautiful, beautiful lightsaber. If you'd like to get this saber or any other saber from Artsabers, you can always use the code ROBINSWORDS to get 5% off any order.